Hi friends, and welcome back to another What I Cooked for Dinner video. Tonight we're having ranch pork chops, and these were really good. I had 6 boneless pork chops, and the recipe did not call for the meat tenderizer or the garlic powder, but I'm adding this, and that's a seasoned meat tenderizer. We like that. It's kind of salty, but instead of using salt, that's what we use, and it's got a little bit of seasoning in it. And I did add some of the garlic powder to the seasoning. Now, the recipe called for oregano, and I think it called for, I think it was 2 tablespoons. And in the reviews, a lot of people said that was just too much oregano, so I cut it back a lot. And I think I added, I want to say a teaspoon of it, because I'm not a huge fan of that, just, you know, with these ingredients. But then you add some smoked paprika, some black pepper, and you will also add some ranch seasoning. So 1 ranch seasoning packet. And I'm going to leave the recipe down below with all of the, you know, how to make it, the amount of ingredients that you need. But I did add that ranch seasoning to the rest of those dry ingredients. Then I just mix it up real well, and all you will do is just sprinkle it on top of the pork chops. And I added a lot more than what's there. I started off sort of, you know, sparingly, because I wanted to make sure I had enough to put on both sides. And once I was done, I put this in the oven on 350 and just let that cook. But I also had this pack of frozen vegetables, and those were really good. It was I believe sweet potatoes, carrots, and broccoli with some seasoning on those already, so I just put those on a sheet pan, and this is what it looks like when they came out. This was really delicious. Like I said, this is one I will make again, and I put some parsley on top. Very good recipe. Also, like I said, those vegetables came out really good. Very fall, you know, feel for that, with the butternut squash and the sweet potatoes and the carrots. I had some buns that I needed to, some French loaf that was going stale, so I just made that into some garlic bread. And really simple and easy night meal. This next one is a sausage, pepper, and potato recipe. It's a sheet pan meal, simple as you can get. I love sheet pan meals, and I like this sausage, which is the chicken with garlic. It's Hillshire Farms. I meant to show the package it came in, but I forgot to save it and already had that thrown away. But I had some I just cut up some potatoes, seasoned it, and I added some chopped up onions to it as well. I love onions with potatoes. It just has a good flavor. But I sprayed the potatoes first with some avocado oil. Then I just seasoned the potatoes with garlic powder, some onion powder, and I do like the Weber New Orleans Cajun seasoning. I just love that. And some salt, and I did add a little bit of pepper to it as well. But I just mixed that up with the sliced up peppers, and you can add anything to it if you want, any type of veggie if you want, but we like the peppers. And then I just put that in the oven until the potatoes were done and the sausage had a little bit of crispness to it. And I just had some frozen corn with it as well. Really good, simple, easy night meal. So this is great when you're in a hurry and need to get something on the table pretty quickly. This is one of those meals that will do it. And this night we are having bacon wrapped honey mustard chicken. This is really good as well. This sauce, I love the honey mustard sauce for any type of chicken. It's really delicious. I took, I think I had 3 chicken breasts, and I just sliced those in half to make them thinner. I find for this type of recipe it just cooks better. And I'm going to put those in a, like a Ziploc bag to marinate. So this is something I let marinate overnight. And you will need some Dijon mustard. So 1 cup of Dijon mustard. And I'm going to leave the recipe down below. I believe I used a tablespoon or so of lemon juice, and I think it was a tablespoon of canola oil. But I'm going to leave that recipe down below. Also, 1 cup of honey. So it's 1 cup of honey to 1 cup of Dijon mustard. Very simple and easy. But you will just mix the honey, the Dijon mustard, and then you will also mix the lemon juice with the oil, and you want to mix that all together and just make sure everything's combined fully. You want a smooth sauce, but you also want to take out some of this sauce. I like the sauce for dipping, so I do put a little bit in a little bowl or a ramekin that I have, and just make sure you put enough, because you just, like I said, it's really good. So I put the chicken breast in the bag, and then I pour a little bit of the marinade over it, and then I'll add some more chicken and then put some more marinade. I just want to make sure it gets fully coated, but mix it up. And I usually take another bowl, like a small soup bowl, and I put the bag in that, so that way I feel like everything kind of condenses a little bit better. That marinade stays on top of the chicken, and I don't have to worry about tossing it too much, to get it to marinate. But I just put this on a sheet pan, and then I wrapped it with some bacon, and I think that was about a pound of bacon or so. It could have been 12 ounces, I can't remember. Bacon's not always a pound anymore. So I just wrapped it. Then I had the seasoned, this is a skillet broccoli and cauliflower veggie dish, but instead of doing it in the skillet, I decided just to do this in the oven on a sheet pan. I think it called for 2 tablespoons of oil to mix that up. I just decided to use the avocado oil and just sprayed it, so that way they would kind of get a little bit of a char to it in the oven. I did add some salt, even though it did have some seasoning on it already, some pepper, and really you can add whatever you want to this. Then I put that in the oven, and when that was cooked and the chicken was cooked, this is what it looked like. Really delicious, really great. I put a little bit of that sauce on the side for dipping, and I did add just a little bit. I brushed a little bit of the sauce on top of the chicken right before it was ready to come out of the oven, and that just gives it a nice little glaze. So make sure you do put enough of that marinade on the side so you can do that. You don't want to use the marinade that the chicken was in. You want, fresh marinade, if that makes sense. You don't want to cross-contaminate. Now this next one we really enjoyed. This is a chicken enchilada skillet meal. Really delicious. I used a rotisserie chicken for this, and I think it was a pound of chicken you needed. Like I said, I will leave the recipe down below in the description box, so that way you can get all the ingredients and everything that you need. But you need 1 ounce or 1 pack of taco seasoning mix, and I just like the Taco Bell one. You can use whatever you want. 1 can of red enchilada sauce, and I believe that's a 10-ounce can. It calls for cilantro. We don't like cilantro, so I just chopped up some parsley, some fresh parsley. You will also need 3 flour tortillas, the burrito size one, and then 1, I believe it was 1 cup of Mexican style cheese. No, it was 3 cups. I'm sorry. 3 cups of Mexican style cheese and 1 cup of chopped tomatoes. And that's it for this. This was really, really good and easy to put together. So the first thing you will do is heat up your chicken in the skillet, and you want it cooked. It doesn't have to be rotisserie. If you want to just do some chicken breast, you can. Just make sure it's cooked and shredded. And I just added a little bit of avocado oil in the pan instead of regular oil. You will only use 3/4 of the can of the red enchilada sauce for this portion of the recipe. So you need to make sure you save at least 1/4 of the can for the last layer. So just don't pour the whole can in when you're doing this. And I kind of just gauged where I thought it would be, what I needed. And I do add a little bit more of the enchilada sauce into this because I felt like it wasn't enough. You can always use 2 cans if you want, if you have more chicken. And I had pretty much, I think, the amount that they called for. But I did add just a little bit more to it. I added the taco seasoning, and you want to add that whole pack, or like I said, the 1 ounce. And you can do homemade if you want, whatever you have. And then just, you want to thoroughly mix that in. You want that, dry mixture to dissolve into the chicken. I do add some of the parsley. And if you were adding cilantro, then you would add some of the cilantro in. But as I said, parsley is just, that's my substitute for the cilantro. Mix it up. Then I did add just a tiny bit more of the enchilada sauce just because I felt like it needed it. And I did end up having enough for the top. So you want to split this in half equally. So you need, the mixture to be in 2 equal portions. So spray your pan, and you want an oven-safe pan for this. But spray the pan down with some olive oil or avocado oil like I did. Then I put 1 burrito tortilla down. Then I take half that mixture and spread it out on the bottom. And you want to try to get it as close to the edges as you can. So you don't want really any of the tortilla sticking out, because I find, it can dry out a little bit too much if it, doesn't get covered. This layer probably would not have mattered as much. But then I take 1 cup of the Mexican style cheese. If you want, you can use Monterey Jack cheese or anything you want. Then add the second burrito tortilla, and then spread that next mixture on top, that chicken mixture. And then you add 1 more cup of cheese on top of that. So it is just a layering process, basically. Then the third burrito tortilla goes on top, and the rest of that enchilada sauce gets poured on top. Then just spread it around. You want to cover the entire tortilla. Just that way it doesn't dry out, and it does give it some flavor. And if you wanted, like I said, it was enough. I mean, I didn't have to have 2 cans or anything. Then I put the 3rd cup of cheese on top, and I think I added just a tiny bit more to make sure that the tortilla was covered, because I did not want that to dry out. And once it comes out of the oven and that cheese is nice and melted, then add the tomatoes on top, and then you would add some parsley or the cilantro, whichever you prefer, and cut these into little triangles, into little wedges. This was really delicious. So simple, easy, weeknight, anytime meal. And I think anyone really would enjoy this. And you can I put some sour cream on mine. If you want, you can add avocados, anything like that to it, some salsa, whatever you prefer. I did have some green beans with this. I wanted some corn, but I was out of corn, so I had green beans, and it worked perfectly. So we really enjoyed it. I think it's something that you would enjoy as well. So I hope you got some ideas for some weeknight meals, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're interested in seeing more like it, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell. That will notify you when I post new videos. Hope everyone has a blessed day. God bless y'all.